All right, the top story on Gravitas tonight. Pakistan, a country fighting a multi-front war, not the military kind, but the kind that affects ordinary citizens, poverty, lack of governance, domestic politics and rising food and fuel prices. Yet, it's not these problems keeping its leaders awake at night. Far from it. The real question troubling Islamabad is, what if Pakistan were attacked by its enemy in the middle of the night? That fear now has a new answer. Pakistan, the terror exporter of the world, and Saudi Arabia have signed a NATO-style defense pact. They're calling it the Strategic Mutual Defense Agreement, signed on Wednesday. This pact has raised eyebrows over its wording. That's what the text of the agreement says, without naming any adversary. For Saudi Arabia, the deal comes at a time of growing doubts about U.S. reliability as a security guarantor, and after Israel's strike on Doha infuriated Arab nations. For Pakistan, it is nothing short of a strategic deterrence against India. Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman were shown embracing after signing the pact. But the questions here are bigger. Will Saudi Arabia really shield Pakistan against India? Would Pakistan offer Saudi Arabia a nuclear umbrella? A Saudi official told news agency Reuters this is a comprehensive defense agreement that encompasses all military means. And Pakistan is the only nuclear-armed Muslim country. It says that has the Islamic world's largest army. An army that openly says it exists to counter India. As for Saudi Arabia, officials insist this deal is not about any specific country, but I would argue that timing is everything. You see, Arab countries are infuriated after Israel's attempt on the 9th of September to eliminate Hamas leadership with airstrikes on Doha. Before the Gaza war, Gulf monarchies, all US allies had sought to stabilize their ties with both Iran and Israel to resolve their long-standing security concerns. But over the past year, Qatar has been subjected to direct hits twice, one by Iran, once by Israel. Those concerns weigh heavy on the Gulf countries, and Israel is widely believed to possess a sizable nuclear arsenal, but as you know, maintains a policy of nuclear ambiguity, neither confirming it nor denying it. Pakistan, on the other hand, is more than happy to show off its nuclear arsenal. But the deal has raised deeper concerns. Saudi Arabia is not just offering political solidarity. It may also seek nuclear technology from Pakistan to advance its own nuclear energy and defense goals. Analysts warn this could pit Riyadh against India in any future conflict with potentially adversarial consequences for New Delhi's carefully built ties with the kingdom. For India, the Saudi-Pakistan pact is troubling. The Saudi deal comes months after Pakistan faced a setback when India carried out its anti-terror operation Sindoor, striking terror camps inside Pakistan with proof of its precision strike on a terror headquarter. Remember, in May this year, the strikes were carried out after Pakistani terrorists launched one of the most horrific attacks in Kashmir, killing tourists in Pahalgam based on their religious identity. Pakistan retaliated to India's anti-terror operations by launching drones and missiles across India's western border, an escalation that India countered once again with clinical precision. And lest we forget, Pakistan, a safe haven for UN-designated global terrorists, has repeatedly said that its nuclear weapons are aimed only at India, with missiles designed to hit any target to the east. Now, with this pact in place, Saudi Arabia has tied itself to Pakistan's wars. It cannot easily go back on that commitment. New Delhi has responded in a measured tone. The Ministry of External Affairs says it is aware of the pact and will study its implications for India's security and regional stability. Responding to the news of the new defense pact between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, India's Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said in a post on X that India was aware of the development and will study its implications for New Delhi's security and for regional stability, of course. The ministry also said that the Indian government remains committed to protecting national interests and ensuring comprehensive security in all domains. Wary of the optics surrounding the pact, Saudi Arabia was quick to delink it from its ties with India, which it said are more robust than ever. According to a senior Saudi official quoted by Reuters, there's a clear understanding in Riyadh of the need to balance relations with India, also a nuclear power. The official said, I'm quoting here, our relationship with India is more robust than it has ever been. We will continue to grow this relationship and seek to contribute to regional peace in every way we can. But the question remains, if Pakistan provokes India again, where will Riyadh stand? Because this time, Saudi Arabia has not just signed a piece of paper, it has bound itself to Pakistan's conflict with India.
See, firstly, I think there is a apprehension that with this sort of effect, maybe Saudis may want some nuclear technology from Pakistan, which could probably take Saudi Arabia towards weaponization, because Saudi Arabia has often indicated that if Iran acquires a weapon, they would go for it. So that's one feasibility. Saudi Arabia has been moving away from fossil fuels. They have actually gone in a big way for solar energy. And now this will probably accelerate their move towards nuclear energy. But as far as India-Saudi diplomacy is concerned, now this could have a serious impact. And that's why India's Ministry of External Affairs has said that they would like to study. Because please understand, this sort of a pact, as has been communicated, pits Saudi Arabia against India in case of a future conflict between India and Pakistan. Now, that's going to be a very serious issue, that because it's a collective security agreement that creates a problem. That attack on one is an attack on both. So if a Houthi attacks on Saudi Arabia, Pakistan will come to the aid of Saudi Arabia. That's okay. If Israel attacks Saudi Arabia, Pakistan will come and try and defend Saudi Arabia. That's also okay. But when India and Pakistan gets into a skirmish or a conflict like the one which we saw during Sindoor, that means it also brings Saudi Arabia against India, to which may have a very, very serious adversarial impact on India-Saudi relations.
Time to time, Pakistani for prime ministers have been given to say that, Saudi Arabia's defense is our defense. I think when General Bajwa was given the highest civilian honor by Saudi Arabia, then the prime minister went on Twitter to say that your defense is ours. So this kind of thing has been going on for years. Also in 94, there was a Saudi defector, who brought out a bunch of documents. And one of those talked of an agreement between the two countries saying that the Pakistan will provide a nuclear umbrella to Saudi Arabia. That was specifically an agreement. We never saw that, but this is what is generally understood. But that was a different Saudi Arabia. It was a different set of issues which were there at that point of time. Now things are different. Saudi Arabia, the prince is on the course for modernity. It's on a completely different path from Pakistan. So this is a signal to the US and everybody else arising from the attack on Qatar. It has significance where Pakistan-Saudi, Pakistan-West Asia relations, Pakistan-Iran relations. Because this deal, I believe, they also spoke to Iran before signing this deal, this defense agreement.
And after several hours of high drama, the Pakistan-UAE match at the Asia Cup has started. The Pakistan Cricket Board had placed some demands with the ICC, threatening to boycott the tournament if they were not met. But Pakistan has once again been embarrassed. And all that happened was a 1-hour delay to the match. The Pakistan Cricket Board was in a meeting through the day contemplating a boycott of the Asia Cup. The team was initially instructed not to leave their hotel as the meeting continued. However, the boycott plan was eventually dropped around 6 p.m. local time in Dubai, and the team left for the stadium. Now, the entire controversy stems around the match referee, Andy Pycroft. Pakistan had first demanded his removal from the panel for the entire tournament. That was because the PCB blamed Pycroft for the Indian players refusing to shake hands with the Pakistan team at the end of the match on Sunday. That demand was rejected as the ICC denied their claim that it was Pycroft who was responsible for India's refusal. The PCB then wanted Pycroft to be replaced specifically for Pakistan's matches in the Asia Cup. That included today's match against UAE. That too was struck down by the ICC. PCB now claims that Pycroft apologized for prohibiting the two teams from shaking hands on Sunday. The Cricket Board also says that the ICC is willing to investigate the alleged code of conduct breach, but no public statement has come from ICC or Pycroft on the matter. The PCB has once again been left red-faced after throwing a tantrum. This was another case of saber-rattling. The question now is, will Pakistan be punished by the ICC for what is clearly an unnecessary delay of an international match? All right, and a new national poll has revealed alarming insights into the deepening fracture within the American society. As political violence continues to surge, the findings point to a nation gripped by fear, frustration, and a growing sense that democracy itself may be at risk. The poll reveals that 63% Americans believe the tone and nature of political discourse today does a lot to encourage violence. Another 31% say it contributes little. It shows that almost most Americans are alarmed by the toxic language and partisan rhetoric dominating the political landscape. The survey also paints a portrait of a nation deeply uneasy about its future. What's even more alarming is the breakdown of the nation's mood. The survey shows that 79% of Americans believe the country has become less tolerant of differing viewpoints in just the past 2 decades. The deepening polarization is felt most acutely across political lines, with 71% of the respondents agreeing that American society is broken. This fracture has led to an increasing sense of unease and fear, with 66% of the respondents worried that political violence could soon spill over into their communities. The rise of political violence is something experts are increasingly worried about. According to researchers tracking these incidents, the first half of this year saw nearly twice as many politically motivated attacks as the same period last year. The survey also shows that Americans are paying attention to the growing number of violent incidents. While 68% of the respondents had heard a lot about the killing of Charlie Kirk, only 26% were aware of the June killings of Democratic lawmakers Melissa Hortman and her husband. This disparity is scary. It underscores the national focus on politically motivated violence. It also raises critical questions about the direction the country is headed in. This imbalance in attention paints a troubling picture, one where certain incidents are amplified and others are largely ignored. Experts warn that this selective outrage only deepens this rift, encouraging more violent responses to political tensions. While this appears to point towards a cascading impact of political rhetoric on rising violence, President Trump, who survived 2 assassination attempts last year, has used the killing of ally Charlie Kirk to launch attacks on his political rivals. Trump said, and I'm quoting, "We have radical left lunatics out there, and we just have to beat the hell out of them."
Not really. I'm really concerned for our country. We have a great country. We have a radical left group of lunatics out there, just absolute lunatics, and we're going to get that problem solved. I'm only concerned for the country.
As the nation faces these challenges, many are asking, will Americans be able to bridge this divide, or is the country headed for further polarization and unrest? And in a significant development signaling a potential shift, perhaps pointing to a moment of finality in the decades-long internal battle against Maoist insurgency, the outlawed Communist Party of India, Maoist, has announced a temporary suspension of its armed struggle. This move, accompanied by a call for a 1-month ceasefire to facilitate peace talks with the central government, marks a notable change in the dynamics of this conflict. Take a look.
The Maoist leadership, through a statement issued, expressed a willingness to lay down arms and engage in dialogue with the government. They proposed a temporary halt to their armed activities, contingent upon the government's declaration of a ceasefire and suspension of security operations. This proposal comes after a period of intensified security operations and the loss of key Maoist leaders, indicating a possible strategic recalibration by the insurgent group. Let's take some of the recent developments for example. Pothula Padmavati, also known as Kalpana or Sujata, the 62-year-old widow of slain Maoist leader Kishenji, surrendered to Telangana police after spending 43 years underground. Her surrender is seen as a significant blow to the Maoist leadership, as she was one of the 15 Central Committee members. Padmavati's decision to lay down arms, influenced by deteriorating health and a desire to reunite with her family, underscores the shifting sentiments within the insurgent ranks. The Maoist insurgency in India traces its origins to the Naxalbari movement of 1967 in West Bengal. Over the decades, it expanded across several states, including Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Maharashtra, Kerala, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, and parts of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, forming what is known as the Red Corridor. The insurgents claim to fight for the rights of marginalized communities, particularly tribal populations. But their methods included armed violence, extortion, destruction of infrastructure, and recruitment of children and civilians. In recent years, India's multi-dimensional counter-left-wing extremism strategy, combining security enforcement, inclusive development, and community engagement, has delivered significant success. The movement has been systematically weakened. Violence has drastically declined, and many LWE-affected districts are being reintegrated into the national mainstream. The number of LWE-affected districts reduced from 126 in 2010 to 38 in April 2024. In the last 10 years, over 8,000 Naxalites have abandoned the path of violence, and consequently, the number of Naxal-affected districts has reduced to fewer than 20. The Government of India is committed to completely eliminating Naxalism by March 31st, 2026, viewing it as the biggest obstacle to the development of remote areas and tribal villages. The recent announcement by the Maoist leadership and the surrender of a senior leader suggests a potential turning point in the insurgency. However, challenges remain. The end of the Red Corridor, once considered a formidable internal security threat, appears to be within reach.
Now, is Chinese President Xi Jinping losing grip on power? When analysts suggest he is, whether it's a delegation of authority, succession plan, or perhaps an early retirement. Could China's once imperious ruler now be facing his own political nightmare? For years, Xi Jinping has cultivated an image of unchallenged power. His meticulous consolidation of authority has seen rivals dismantled, ensuring that he remains China's most powerful leader since Mao Zedong. However, recent regulations quietly passed by the Politburo have sent shockwaves through the heart of the Chinese Communist Party. These new rules aim to standardize decision-making and empower the party's coordinating bodies, suggesting a shift of power from Xi's personal control for the first time. Major policies and tasks which were once solely controlled by Xi are now under the oversight of party organs. Xi's recent absence from the BRICS summit in Rio de Janeiro has fueled these theories. Premier Li Qiang represented China. This happened for the first time since Xi assumed presidency. His absence raised questions about his health and political intentions. His unexplained disappearance in July and August added fuel to the speculation. However, Xi quickly resurfaced when he visited Tibet. Xi's Tibet visit in August was short, strange. He spent just 24 hours in Lhasa, which is far shorter than his previous visits. This raised questions about his health and stamina. Some observers noted that he appeared unsteady on his feet, and notably, Xi did not visit the $165 billion Yalung Sangpo Dam, a flagship project of his regime. Such visits are normally seen as opportunities for Xi to consolidate his political base, so his absence sparked further concerns. Despite the fanfare surrounding his military parade on the 3rd of September, Xi's handling of foreign diplomacy may also be telling. The meeting with Putin and Prime Minister Modi is viewed as part of Xi's global power play and was not as significant as some might think. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is far from aligning himself with China, continues to push India towards greater independence and regional dominance, even skipping Xi's military parade to attend talks in Japan. Meanwhile, Russia, a country in need of China's support due to Trump's tariffs, remains far more reliant on Beijing. The military parade raised suspicions about shifts in the Chinese military leadership. General Zhang Yuxia, who is a key figure believed to be leading the internal push against Xi and was seen taking greater control. His actions in moving the 82nd Group Army into central Beijing signaled a show of strength and perhaps a challenge to Xi's authority. Interestingly, state media highlighted Wang Yang, who is a former member of Xi's inner circle, to possibly raise a succession plan or a shift in the power structure. Xi's health remains under close scrutiny. Observers have noted that he appeared unsteady and even flushed during public appearances. Some even speculate this may be indicative of liver disease. Meanwhile, U.S. intelligence reports suggest that General Zhang may now hold real power behind the scenes in Beijing. As China enters this new era of potential political transition, the world watches closely, with analysts questioning whether the once unassailable Xi Jinping is truly facing the beginning of his political downfall. Now, this summer, Spain found itself in the grip of its hottest season since records began in 1961. With temperatures soaring 2.1 degrees Celsius above the 1991 to 2020 average, the summer of 2025 wasn't just another heat wave, it was about warnings and wildfires. As the country sweltered, the extreme temperatures fueled some of the most devastating wildfires Spain has seen in decades. From the rugged hills to fields of Castilla-Leon, flames raced across more than 20,000 hectares of land, scorching the landscape and leaving communities in ruin.
Heat waves at the peninsula were significant because between the two of them, they summed up 33 days, meaning that at least 1 in every 3 days this summer we have been under a heat wave situation with extreme temperatures. The summer was generally dry, especially in the peninsula's west. It's true that there were strong storms in the northeast, but in the peninsula's west, this combination of little rain and very high temperatures triggered an intense series of wildfires in August.
Now, for local honey producers, the effects are personal and profound. Some estimate that they will lose at least half of their money of their honey production this year, and the ripple effect will also be the same next year as the flower bees take years to recover. Now, the fires didn't just decimate local agriculture, they also ravaged Spain's growing rural tourism sector. The northwestern region, which was once popular escape for nature lovers, hikers and food enthusiasts, suddenly was thrust into chaos. Sanabria Lake, which is a major draw for tourists, had to close, leaving local businesses counting the cost and losing livelihood. But the losses go beyond tourism and agriculture. The fires have caused an estimated 600 million euros in damages to Spain's farming industry, including destroyed crops, properties and livestock. The blow is cruel for many farmers who are already struggling with rising fuel and feed costs. Beyond the immediate financial losses, the fires highlight a deeper issue facing rural Spain. Decades of migration to urban areas have left many regions vulnerable to such disasters, with weakened infrastructure and little support to mitigate the effects of climate change. The damage to agriculture alone is estimated at 600 million euros, and that figure is likely to rise as the full extent of the devastation becomes clear. Across Europe, wildfires have burned through a record 1.03 million hectares of land, and Spain's northwestern region saw temperatures 3 degrees above normal, 3 degrees Celsius. The extreme heat and dry conditions have made wildfires more frequent and intense. As the country grapples with these losses, one thing is clear: Spain's rural areas are in need of greater support and investment. The fires have not only scorched the land but also ignited a debate about the future of rural Spain.